Latika and Gaurav are about to become mum and dad for the first time. Naturally, they're nervous and excited.
I'm speechless. I'm just waiting for my baby to come. Just want him to come out.
It's been a long trip from their home in the UK to this unconventional delivery room.
What's he up to? What's he doing?
This is India, and they've paid the equivalent of 30,000 Australian dollars for a surrogate to carry and bear them a child. Their newborn son is delivered to them minutes after a caesarean birth in a surgery down the hall. He'll be weighed, buttoned up snugly, spend a few minutes in the arms of his new mother.
Oh, he's so gorgeous.
And undergo assessment and monitoring in a neonatal cot for maybe an hour or so. Then it's into the baby capsule.
So cute.
And as the proud parents make their way out of the hospital, their surrogate remains in a recovery ward, surrounded by her family. She's just earned an otherwise unimaginable sum, $7,000.
मेरी बहू ने बच्चा दिया इसलिए खुशी के आंसू आए हैं।
अभी आप जो है वो चली जाएगी घर पे तो बच्चा आपने दे दिया तो कैसा लग रहा है आपको?
तो होता है।
Very soon, Latika, Gaurav and their little son will be winging their way back to the United Kingdom. One transaction in India's booming surrogacy business. But as the baby-making industry has taken off, regulation, safety and transparency has been left behind in a cloud of dust.
And people are forgetting that there are human beings involved, there are emotions involved.
And for hundreds of Australian families looking to Indian surrogacy to start or grow their own family, there are perils and pitfalls.
Because all they seem to care about is making money.
Joy.
The happiest I've ever been in my life.
And heartbreak.
Come.
Tonight, a very personal journey as two couples take their hopes and dreams to India.
I'm trying to avoid.
In no time at all, it's become a lucrative industry in many parts of India. From here in provincial Anand in northwestern India to Mumbai and the capital Delhi. India has seized on what's called assisted reproductive technology and opened the door for customers worldwide. Of 2,000 babies born for foreign customers, hundreds will be for Australian clients.
There is so much bureaucracy in Australia surrounding this issue. Yes, it is a state-by-state thing as well. In some states it's legal, in some states it's illegal. So you can't commission surrogacy. We're privileged here in Victoria that we are able to do so.
Melbourne couple Carly and Bill Garakis have tried just about everything to start a family. But in 6 years, all they have to show for their efforts is heartache.
We tried IVF for 4.5 years. We did something close to 24 cycles. We fell pregnant 4 times ourselves and lost all 4 babies. We ended up having our little girl and she lived for an hour. And I think the hardest part in all that was to actually see our baby in our arms, struggling to take breath. It was the most devastating time in our lives. And not to only go through it the once, we ended up going through that twice within 11 months of each other.
We are just average Australians out there, you know, struggling, working, and, you know, we want to come home and, you know, come to our family.
If it's something you really want, you will find the way to do it.
They'd already spent $100,000 on failed IVF in Australia. But the Karkhanis were prepared to make sacrifices and dig deeper in the quest for a family.
3, yeah, I'll get the 3 of them.
They took their savings and their dreams to India, where they found multinational surrogacy entrepreneur Mariam Kukunasvili.
Hello. Namaste.
We started in India 3 years ago. We had only agency, a small office, 2 employees, and doing IVF cases with another clinic. Then later on, last year, we opened our own IVF clinic.
Hi, how are you, Gargi?
Fine.
Her India operation is showing all the signs of the success of her surrogacy centres in her native Georgia and another in Thailand.
There are a lot of controversies in the society about reproductive issues, but I think when a couple are childless, so we cannot call that this is baby-making process. We are helping them to have families, to complete their families and have children.
Tasmanians Kate and Paul Tawney have come to New Delhi in the hope of expanding their family. A sister or a brother for 4.5-year-old son Ptolemy.
Family is everything to me. I love Ptolemy almost without measure. You know, I love him so much, and we've got more love to give. We're not complete. We just don't feel that this is it.
Say hi to the little boy. Say hi to the little boy.
Conventional conception or even IVF isn't an option. The birth of Ptolemy brought a medical emergency and an end to Kate's ability to conceive.
It was incredibly traumatic. I ended up having seizures, and that's the last thing I can remember. When I woke up, I was told that I did have a baby. He was alive. It was a bittersweet moment because I was told, it was Paul that told me that part of keeping me alive, the only way that I was still there, the doctors had made an emergency decision to perform an emergency hysterectomy. It was the only thing that they could have possibly have done to keep me alive, and it was devastating, absolutely devastating. That was the end of my family dream. There would be no more children. I just remember bursting into tears, and yeah, it was very difficult.
She came to me one night when we were in bed and just said that, you know, how do you feel about trying surrogacy, to having another child? And I pretty much discounted it straight away. So we had a good chat about it, and she swayed me.
Since it was legalised in 2002, commercial surrogacy in India has grown exponentially. It's now a business worth hundreds of millions of dollars, fuelled in part by tax breaks to encourage medical tourism. From a couple of hundred clinics in the early years, There are now an estimated 1,500 surrogacy centres. One calculation has about 25,000 babies produced by Indian surrogates, more than 12,000 for Western clients. But a lack of clear regulation means precise figures about the scale and nature of the sector are hard to come by.
It's an unregulated industry. It's a mysterious industry. We do not know what's going on. It is a bazaar. Those are the things that we need to worry about.
Author and surrogacy critic Kishwar Desai investigated the Indian industry in her book Origins of Love.
I do see surrogacy as an attack on women in many ways because it is being propagated in the absence of a law. So we do not even know whether the surrogates are being given the proper care and treatment that they deserve, or who are the parents who are coming in for this surrogacy. There is no kind of a legal framework within which it is happening.
Hi kids, how are you? How are you? How was the trip?
Kate and Paul have decided against a surrogacy clinic. They've hired a local lawyer and directly engaged a surrogate. Her name is Nasni, a New Delhi local in her early 20s, married with 2 children of her own.
What she was doing is a huge thing. We didn't want her to feel that we're exploiting her in any way. I just feel that this way we are reducing the degree of exploitation as much as we can.
That's really sweet.
Yeah.
He's gorgeous, really gorgeous.
Nasni will get more money than many clinic surrogates, and during pregnancy will be able to stay at home with her children. Clinic surrogates are routinely placed in group houses until they're ready to deliver.
To me, it sounded a little bit like a puppy farm. And that will probably annoy a lot of people to say that, because a lot of people have had great success from these places. But to me, that's just how it felt and how it sounded.
Hello. How are you?
Thank you.
Nice to see you. Hello. Nice to meet you. So the injections are going to start from today. I think I'm aware Paul can be of help to give you the injections. Overall, we get a pregnancy rate of about 70 to 80% in 3 trials.
In 3,
yes. So on the left, I can see at least 7, 8.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Kate has retained the ability to generate eggs, but she'll undergo 12 days of injections to stimulate production.
And on the right side, I can see about 4 to 5.
There'll be plenty of scans and blood tests before her eggs are removed, fertilised with Paul's sperm and implanted in Nasni's womb.
I haven't felt many symptoms, really.
The Tawneys will return to Launceston and cross their fingers for good news.
And we are quite excited with how things are progressing as of today.
Yeah, thank you.
AdvKarkhanis already has her good news.
How do you like Delhi so far? It's beautiful.
She's arrived in New Delhi to meet with clinic boss Mariam Kukanasvili and to meet her surrogate Soma for the first time.
Hi Kali, she's Soma. Mariam, she's Soma.
Soma, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Soma's pregnancy is the result of eggs from an Eastern European donor and Kali's husband Bill's sperm.
This is for your boys. For your boys. For your 2 boys. And this is for you. Okay? For you. Thank you very much.
Soma is well into her 3rd trimester. She's carrying twins.
If they can hear me, and I'm sure they can, I just wanted to let them know that their father and I love them so much. And it's the most amazing thing. I cannot describe how I feel about somebody who I've never met in my life. Little ones, be safe. If she was to knock on my door and ask for the world, I would move heaven and earth to give it to her. Beautiful. There isn't enough words to convey how I feel or how Bill feels.
I have to be a father.
Until recently, Soma's been living at home with her husband and 2 boys of her own. Now she's moved into the clinic's surrogacy house under medical supervision. She'll earn around $7,000 for carrying the twins.
I can make out they're good size, aren't they? Very good.
We make sure surrogate mothers are near delivery hospital from 7th month because sometimes delivery occurs earlier from 7th or on 8th month, so it's better, especially if baby delivers premature. We need very good hospital with proper equipment. This cannot be organized in villages.
But they have been brainwashed, and because they are so poor, this is the kind of money they will never see in their entire lives. You know, they earn as little as 1,000 rupees a day, 2,000 rupees a day. How can they ever hope to say no when something like this comes up, and when their husbands are the first ones to say, please go out there and have this child because it'll make a huge difference to our family? How can she say no?
This is definitely an opportunity. A poor lady who has a dream of living in her house of her own or educating her children, and she cannot do anything else. She cannot earn this kind of money. And if she gets this opportunity to help some other female and bring a beautiful baby on this earth, for them this is a wonderful arrangement.
India's surrogacy industry took off from an unlikely setting, a small rural town called Anand, about 500 kilometres north of Mumbai.
So I'm happy that I'm in a smaller town where I can devote more time for my practice and my surrogates.
Local doctor Nayana Patel helped the British couple have twins. The unorthodox procedure drew international attention. She's now India's best-known baby maker, overseeing about 700 surrogate births.
If you are just a critic who feels that a childless should live a life of misery and stay childless throughout their life, or a poor is meant to remain poor all throughout and should remain poor throughout their life, then you will consider this as something wrong, as something immoral, a farm, baby-making factory.
Nayana Patel's surrogacy house is home to about 70 women, some carrying babies for local clients, others for international clients. During their stay, the women become close, and as each one's due date arrives, celebrate a traditional baby shower, praying for all to go well. Most of these women are uneducated, many from simple rural villages, and few, if any, could be described as financially savvy.
They do not know what a bank is, how you deposit money, what is the importance of checkbook. Here they get an exposure to the outside world. They gain confidence when they come over here.
Yes, the prime motive is money. But what's wrong in helping them? You know, we look at it from the point of view that yes, there is someone who needs help and there is someone who is willing to offer help. What other options these women would have had?
Mumbai surrogacy lawyer AdvKarkhanis estimates India's baby-making business has passed the $1 billion mark, with each year better than the last in terms of profits and babies born. The only real restriction came last year, when the government imposed new visa regulations on foreigners.
Bill and I light a candle and we make a prayer, and every night I cry.
Now, surrogacy is restricted to couples who've been married for at least 2 years. They have to use a registered assisted reproductive technology clinic and provide proof a child born through surrogacy will be accepted by their home country. He still insists it's a win for India's medical sector and for surrogates searching for a path out of abject poverty.
So there is a synergy here, and I don't see any reason why that synergy should be, looked upon with the prism of ethics and morality. There are a lot of other things that we do which are unethical and immoral. But why only surrogacy is looked upon from that prism? That's something which is a mystery to me.
if it was a part of a male body that was being used like this, which was being used as a rental space for some other body to be inserted into it, then I think there would have been a very, very different kind of movement you would have seen in India. You know, now you see a movement which is just to hush it up. Oh, it's a win-win situation. It's brilliant. Everybody's happy. The woman gets some money. But you know, the question I want to ask over and over again, how much is that money? It's a very small amount.
It was quite stressful to sit there waiting, too scared to pick up the phone because you didn't know what the answer would be. And it was going to be all or nothing.
In Tasmania, the Tawneys have just received word their surrogate's pregnancy has failed.
When we found out that it was negative, I was absolutely distraught. When people say, oh, you know, move on, be happy with your life, you've got a great son, love him, just carry on where you left off. Of course we love him, but that does nothing to address the deeper sadness that is always going to be there. Sometimes these things just don't work and the lady doesn't get the baby doesn't grow. Okay? But you understand how completely important you are, and we're so lucky that you're here with us. We're so lucky, aren't we? With you and me and Daddy, okay?
The Tawneys had steered clear of India's surrogacy clinics in pursuit of what they considered to be a more ethical arrangement, a direct caring relationship with the woman who would carry their child.
I guess selfishly, at the end of the process, what we want to get is a child at the end. It's all very well to want to go into the process as ethically as possible, but you know, we had to bend a little bit, I'm afraid. Is that a bad thing to say?
We're going to think really hard and see if there's another way we can try and do this. Okay, we'll think really hard. But we just have to get over this one first, don't we?
Again, Kate has gone back to the computer and done stacks more research, and she's come across another clinic, which is in Mumbai this time.
Yeah, there are people who would think that we're crazy to try again because of the emotional stress that we would be putting our family under again. But that side of me that really wants the end result to happen and knows how positive and how perfect it could be keeps talking to me.
We'd never considered the fact that we would be exploited. We'd heard and read and were very concerned about surrogates being exploited, but it never crossed our mind that we would also be exploited.
With hopes and emotions high, large sums of money in play, and little or no transparency, it shouldn't surprise that some customers are being stung by predatory practices.
The strange thing is that everybody's got the same stories. Nobody had told us before we went into it, and it doesn't look like anybody's telling anybody else as they go into it either.
Darren Pinks and his wife have a beautiful, healthy baby daughter now, but a $30,000 surrogacy agreement soon became $50,000 as charges rolled in that just didn't add up.
So despite being very lucky in having our daughter born, there were some things that just weren't right. Things that the clinic did that we've since found out that not only have upset us, but actually have made us worry that they're doing it to other intended parents.
The Pinks believe their clinic systematically overcharged them and ordered unnecessary procedures to inflate the bill. They commenced legal action, but withdrew when it became too expensive and too difficult.
There's a certain point where people don't want you to say anything. They don't want you to rock the boat, because the fear is if you say something and then there's legislation that prevents other people from actually going through surrogacy, they'd much rather go through a bad experience than no experience at all.
Oh, Daddy. Pick up a bit higher.
She wants to be here like this. This is how Daddy holds her. And she sleeps like that.
Bill and Carly Garkhanis are getting to know Costa and Christina Garkhanis.
Hello. Daddy loves you.
Every time I do this, he pees himself. Every time I do this, he pees Mama. I thought I would cry, but I was just so happy I had no tears. All I wanted to do was hold them and kiss them. Hi, Mama. Hi, Mama.
The twins arrived 6 weeks early. The Garkhanis raced to New Delhi to collect their newborns. Their crash course in parenting is underway in this Delhi hotel.
Yeah. Getting to see them for the first time, it was just brought tears to your eyes, really, and just holding them there. Just amazing the way that they respond to you, you know, to your touch and all, and it's just amazing. 2 perfect babies.
For this couple, India's commercial surrogacy has been a resounding success.
Presents! What a lucky boy!
For Kate and Paul Tawney, it continued to fail.
Can I just show you something? What does that say? For the last year, Paul and I have been... We've put ourselves through a lot. We've experienced a lot of stress, a lot of emotional ups and downs. Mind it, excuse me.
In the months beyond their first unsuccessful pregnancy, the Tawneys engaged a surrogacy clinic in Mumbai, but separate attempts with 2 more surrogates didn't result in pregnancy either. It's been costly and distressing.
Happy birthday, darling. And I'm just so glad that we did try, because I feel that even though we haven't had the result that we wanted, we've tried. We've done everything we can possibly do to get that elusive end result, and yeah, I've got no regrets about that.